3 years after she was allegedly defiled and impregnated by 2 boys in a village near Boko in the Upper East region, the 19-year-old victim is still fighting to secure justice. Aisha, not her real name, and her mother were compelled to relocate to the Ashanti region because they refused to heed calls by their relatives to withdraw the case from court. JoyNews' Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin reports the victim's situation is even more complicated because she is unable to say which of the perpetrators is the father of her 2-year-old girl born after the alleged rape.
The cry of Aisha's 2-year-old baby. The mother cannot tell who is father of a child who is yet to experience the warmth of paternal parenthood. None of the alleged culprits of a defilement is prepared to accept responsibility for the outcome of the alleged criminal act. Aisha explains she had turned down a large proposal by one of the boys. He later teamed up with another to trail and subject her to such an ordeal at Atuba.
As they approached, I realized that they wanted to attack me, and there was no help coming, considering the location of the road. I took to my heels. They threw their bikes and chased me until I became weaker and weaker, stumbled and fell. The particular guy I saw at highways approached me first and gave me hefty slaps and hit me hard on the head and back. I struggled with them until I became too weak to fight them. One of them squeezed my breast, and I really felt pain in it. The other one covered my mouth with his hand, and he defiled me first. Later, the other one also took over and had sex with me. They kicked me hard afterwards.
Aisha was unable to inform her parents or any relative about the incident for fear of being punished. Little did she know the abuse could result in pregnancy. Subsequently, it was discovered, and she had to name the alleged offenders who denied the accusations. Police in Boko arrested the boys, and for 2 years, Aisha's mother and education authorities have been trekking to court. Abolga Matilda is in charge of girl child education at the Boko Municipal Education Office.
What happened was that she was a student at Palwega JHS, her first year, and the father was brought from the village, Anisi, on admission at Vineyard. So when the father was discharged, they have an uncle. He has an uncle who has a house in Dingande here. The man went and left the drugs there, and the girl was now tracing to give the father the drugs at Anisi.
Madame Matilda fears their efforts may achieve little or nothing by way of justice.
It's like she has nobody. As at now, it's GS that is fighting for her, GS and then the police. Because nobody is ready. Because it came to some time. I realized that the case was keeping long. Because 2016, so I just got up one day and I told the director that let me get to the police station and find out from the CID what is happening about this girl's case. So when I get there, the prosecutor said, oh, we are going to court. And the lawyer has written that we should withdraw this case and go and settle at the community level because they are from the same community. I said no. There are two villages altogether. And apart from that, there are 2 different people. So who owns the child?
As we speak, her father is late and my other daughter is sick. Every month, I buy drugs costing not less than 100 Ghana cedis. I have to work to feed myself and the child, which is very difficult for me.
That was Aisha's mother, Maimuna Awindago. A few days after the incident, Aisha's father passed on and she's unable to go back to school.
I was sick.
26-year-old Noah Amadou Adams is Aisha's brother.
I was sick on his sick bed when he got to hear about the situation. Her daughter being defiled, it wasn't an easy task. He fight and fight and fight till he died.
Aisha was in JHS1 here in this school when she ran into trouble. Her colleagues just wrote the Basic Education Certificate Examination BECE without her. She says that alone is eating her up.
I couldn't continue my education again. I get experiences of the incident and felt mentally traumatized whenever I see my schoolmates whom we could have completed together. If it were now, I would have disclosed it, but it was too late for me.
Aisha's relatives say they do not have good legal representation in court. Her mother fears the outcome of the process, and her little granddaughter would remain fatherless. Aisha's defilement is just one of many cases recorded in the Boko area alone. The Girl Child Education Unit is alarmed by the situation. Whether or not Aisha will get justice and whether it will be enough to deter errand boys here remains a riddle to be solved. Mahmoud Mohammed Noordin's report for JoyNews.
The cries of uncertainty of that baby there. Joining us via Skype is Angela Jamna-Abuaje. She's Executive Director of the ARC Foundation. Mrs. Abuaje, thank you very much for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
Well, I'm sure that you have seen or heard the story, and it certainly feeds into a pool of stories that you've had to deal with as at ARC Foundation. With this particular case, how does it come across to you?
Well, as you said, it's not something that's very strange in our kind of community. We have many such cases that you're not sure whether it's going to come out the way you would expect. But I'm more interested in the details of the cases. I get the impression that the case is still in court. If that's the case, then why is the prosecution slowing down? So that would be my first question. If these boys were arrested and the case is in court,
the bit of it is that there have been appeals to withdraw the case from court.
That's certainly not possible legally in this country. It's not supposed to be done. I know people do it, behind the legal processes. But once the issue has gone to the police and also onto the courts, there is no way you can withdraw a defilement case. Now, if she was under 16, that's defilement. It's like statutory rape. Even if she was above 16, that's rape because she did not consent to it, which is it's a higher crime. It's a felony, okay? It cannot be withdrawn. So I don't see where that story is also coming from, that anybody is asking that case be withdrawn. It cannot. The police know that. The judges know that. My question is, why is the justice system slow? Is it for want of prosecution? Is it evidence? And now we even have a child. So that should make it even simpler because the police know that they can actually do DNA testing on the child. They may say they don't have money, but there's a way in which you can find something to support you to get DNA testing to find out who the baby of this, the father of this child is, for maintenance purposes, not even for the legal prosecution, even though it will help. Yeah.
Well, right now, here she is with a 2-year-old child that she has to take care of. Her education has been truncated, and they've had to relocate to the Ashanti region because of the pressure they were receiving to withdraw the case from court. What should be the way forward for this girl and her family?
First of all, I would go to the police that's handling the case. I don't understand the pressure. If they know somebody is pressurizing the lady and her family to withdraw, they should go after that person. It's called collusion. That person is colluding with against the law. Okay, so there's a criminal provision called compounding crime. You can go after that person who is trying to pressurize these people to withdraw the case. Secondly, the police, if it's the DOFSU is a specialized unit. It doesn't just look at legal prosecution. It looks at psychosocial help also. So if the family has relocated, then DOFSU is supposed to see which people or which organizations in the community are able to help this girl. Okay, now if they were in Accra, for example, I would say bring her to the ARC Foundation. Let's do a thorough psychosocial assessment of her situation, see how we can come in and help with this or other, or whatever the situation is after the assessment. So the police know that there are some community organizations and so on who they are supposed to be networking with for these purposes. That's why I'll go back to where the case was reported and what they are doing about it. They should go after whoever is trying to commit compounding crime. So
in this case where they have had to move or relocate from the northern region to the Ashanti region, will that affect the case in any way?
It shouldn't. Prosecution anywhere is prosecution. The only thing is that you make sure that the suspects are available, and then the witnesses and complainants are ready to go to court to speak. So by now, the police should know exactly where this girl is. They should not make it a cold case. If they are doing that, then their superiors in Accra must get them to stand up immediately. They shouldn't make it a cold case. If she's moved, they are supposed to know that she's moved and where she can be located. They should not lose sight of the case. And now that the media has it, you now have it's in your face. You should be able to supply who is involved.
I'm losing you. If you can reposition Mrs. Abwaje, Jamna Abwaje, and come again.
Can you say that again?
Yeah, I lost you briefly. Can you say what you said again?
What I'm saying is that because the media attention is on this lady, it means you know where she is. Once you know where she is, you can give information to the police, assuming they're saying they don't know where this girl is.
Right.
Okay. Then they know where she is, because as for some going to court, that's not a difficult thing. You just have to sit in a court or whatever and go. Police have to do what they do. They need to notify the suspect. The date is
they
do their best to move. They connect to the other organization.
I would have loved to hear a lot more from this, including the psychological trauma. What sort of trauma she could be going through psychologically, but the Skype is not really supporting that wish. Let's try again and see if it gets a bit more stable. So I talked about the fact that her education has been truncated. She has a 2-year-old to take care of alone, and her mother doesn't look like she's in a position to support that much. We're told in the story that the GES and the police have taken up the matter, and because there is nobody from her side pushing, it looks like that is the reason why the case has stalled. But at this point, with all of these happening, she knowing that her colleagues have just written the BEC, what sort of psychological position was she be in?
That will need an assessment. Definitely, she has gone through a traumatic event. Her father is also dead. Her mother is finding it difficult to take care of her and so on.
And she lost her father too.
Yes. So it's a very difficult time for the young woman with a child, her education truncated and so on. So I'm saying that, you see, one of the reasons why the police that prosecute gender-based crimes like this is the specialized unit called DOFSU, is that they don't behave like your regular police. That's why they should know where she is, and they must connect her to community resources. And it isn't hopeless, okay? When it comes to psychological assessment, even in the Ashanti region, there are hospitals that have psychologists and psychiatrists attached. They must be able to give her psychological help or connect her to psychological help. If they say it's a money business, they can connect with their superiors who can connect with others of us in the system to see what we can also do to support. So I'm not saying that every case can be carried on like this because of monetary constraints and so on, but it's not a hopeless situation. It just happens that the unit that is handling this case at the first point should know what to do legally by prosecution, and also connecting this person to other help within the community or in even other communities, assuming that's where you can get help.
I mean, I know ARC Foundation is burdened and it has this, there's a lot of pressure there due to the stories that you've had to deal with and some of these cases that you have to contend with. But should we expect any sort of support from the ARC Foundation for this girl?
We won't have any trouble supporting them once we get.
It looks like I've lost Angela Jamnabwaje there again, but she says that they won't have any problems or any troubles supporting this girl once they have the details of her whereabouts, and certainly we'll be able to hook them up so we can get some help for her. She lost her father after she was raped. She has a 2-year-old child she needs to take care of. Her mother isn't really gainfully employed. She has lost in on education. At least her classmates have written the BSc and completed, and she hasn't been able to do so. That's a lot for a 19-year-old girl to contain. We'll follow the story and hopefully get some results for her.